Hey everybody, it is Chuck Barone, Tuesday, August the 13th, 2024. I watched Salenti. That guy's a maniac, but I like the peace message and he really believes in it. A good guy. Anyway, thanks to my friends here on the chat, always going. And thanks to everybody else watching it, not participating in the chat, watching the tape after. We really appreciate your support. Welcome to the show. We got a lot to talk about today. We got our PPI numbers. Yeah, baby. Guess what? Right where we want them to be. Great day for the market. Great day for Powell and the Federal Reserve. They're going to have things that looks like exactly the way they want them, with inflation numbers coming down right where they need them to be, employment cooling off but not cratering out. I think they're in a pretty good spot, guys. Now, I got to say, I've had my doubts for 2 years, maybe more, about this soft landing idea. I'm never really going to believe they're going to pull it off, and I still got to see it to believe it here. But if these numbers, and we know we take these numbers with a grain of salt, okay? But these numbers sure pointing the way for exactly what they've been hoping for since they started these rate increases to get this inflation back down. So PPI comes in good today. The markets rally like crazy. Do you guys see these numbers? Dow Jones up 408 points, sitting at 39,765. The NASDAQ up 407 points, 17,187 on the NASDAQ. The S&P 500 up 90 points, 5,434 on the S&P 500. So a good, strong day all the way across the board on stocks today. I guess, like I said, we got the PPI numbers. Tomorrow we'll get CPI. If the CPI numbers come in as they expect them to, or even better like PPI did today, that will certainly, now we're going to have to get next month's readings too, right? And then into September, those readings too. But I guess we'll have to get September's. We're going to still get PCE. We got so much data still to get. But the data straightening out for this rate cut coming in September. We already know Trump's going to be fighting that, already threatening now, saying the president should have a say in the Fed decisions, which is really interesting. So now they got to, the Fed going to have to make their move very casually here, very, they're going to have to really be able to point to some data to justify it. Because like I said, in the middle of election, we're going to be pissing people off here. It's going to be fascinating to watch it. But it certainly seems like the world has rolled out the red carpet for the Fed so they can cut a half if they wanted to in September, which is what, if I'm going to cut, number one, I already would have cut in July. If you're going to do it, why wait 2 months to telegraph it? Ooh, well, here's what we're going to do. Well, why do that? Just cut. If they're going to cut in September and they really believe that they need to bring rates down to keep the economy going, then why not cut a half? They're raising 3/4 at a time, so a cut of a half would not be a mind-blowing thing, especially to kick off a rate cut cycle. So we'll see how they play it, but it would not be a shock to me if they cut half, if they end up cutting and defying Trump. The bond market today rallies up as well. Prices up, yields down. The 10-year down 5 basis points, sitting at 3.85%. The 2-year down 7 basis points, sitting at 3.94%. So now there's only 9 points, and that inversion just keeps getting narrower and narrower. Sooner or later, it will right itself, and we'll see what that means. But bond yields coming down, that now we can kind of understand the surge they had because, they got yields coming down. So the people who had those bonds at 410, 420, they're making money now. Capital gains money besides the higher interest payments. So the bond market, let's see now. It's been in a bear market for several years now, guys. Let's see if they can turn it around because prior to that, this bear market we're in was the longest bull market ever in bonds. The dollar today falls 53 basis points, also signaling this big rate cut, 53 basis points. That's a big move in one day. Now sitting at 102.60 on the dollar index. I'm a strong dollar guy, so this distresses me a little bit. 102 is still not a bad number. We were 104, 106. Now it looks like we're going to be heading back down toward the 100 number. We'll see where the dollar goes, but I'm going to guess if rate cuts are going to happen. They're going, if they're really going to happen, the dollar's going to get weaker. Gold, of course, with the weaker dollar, gold should rally. Gold did not rally. Go figure. Gold falls today, small, just $6.30, sitting at $2,467.60 for an ounce of gold. So still nothing big day to day in gold. It's still a good price. Silver falls 13 cents, $27.82 for an ounce of silver. Silver's my bane. I want silver at $30. We need to get silver back up over $30, and they will. We'll see. I think that we're lagging gold right now. Need to get that number up on silver, guys. Oil today falls $1.61 per barrel, $78.45 for a barrel of West Texas Intermediate. We'll see if oil, where it's going to go. It's going to all depend on the Iranians. They're planning their big retaliation in Israel. People are moving military pieces all over the Middle East in lieu of this right now, or because of this right now. Even the U.S. moving another aircraft carrier group out there. We got new subs out there. Crazy times in the Middle East, but so far nothing happening. So oil only a little bit higher on the could happen stuff. Bitcoin today rallies up, but Bitcoin's been following the market. Let's just say it like it is. So the market rallies today. So does Bitcoin, up $1,641, back up over 60,000, 60,754. So now we got to see if Bitcoin can hold this $60,000 number. Certainly got back up to 60,000 much more easily than silver got back up to $30. All right, so let's talk about stuff today. So we had the PPI. We knew we were getting that today. These are the wholesale numbers. Now this is wholesale numbers to retailers or retail stores. So let's say the food manufacturer to the Walmart is going to sell the food, right? The numbers basically rose month over month, 0.1% from last month. A very, very good number. 2.2% top line PPI year over year. A very, very, very good number. Getting right toward where the Fed wants it. CPI, or the core number, interestingly, was unchanged. So that did not change at all. That's the slowest pace producer prices have risen in 3 years. Tomorrow we'll get the CPI numbers. Okay, now these are the really important ones because this shows consumer inflation. Experts are expecting a top line number on CPI of 3%, with core at 3.2%. It's still much higher. It's a 50% higher than the Fed wants it at their 2% target. But if they could get these numbers in the twos, the Fed's on their way. Powell's getting his wish. Falling inflation, jobs cooling off but not collapsing. So tomorrow now lining up to be a very, very big day for the Federal Reserve and for the economy. Let's face it. The economy needs these rate cuts right now, especially real estate, guys. We've been having it tough in real estate for several years now, and we all know what a vital, huge part real estate plays in our economy. When you build a house, you put together, not only do you get the contractor and the subcontractors work, but carpenters, landscapers, pool guys, painters, carpenters, flooring people. The list goes on and on and on and on of all the people involved, not to mention the real estate agents, the mortgage guys, and everybody else involved in real estate and housing. So when you have that part of our economy literally spending a couple of years in the shitter, well, that's really going to affect economics. It's going to affect things. We want a vital, happy housing market, but we're still stuck in a very bad place, guys, a very bad place. Because we got prices basically at their all-time high. And we still got interest rates very, very high. So when you got a median house price here in Las Vegas right now at $480,000, even if they brought rates from, say, the 6 3/4 they're at now, even if they brought them all the way down to 5, until we get some relief on these prices, on prices of houses, it's going to be really still going to be, it's going to be better. And you're going to see refis, everybody that managed to buy houses through these higher rates will refi down now. And they're going to be the ones who are actually going to do well because they're going to get in. They got in. They still now already have built over the, say, the last year with rates at 6.5 or even 7 or 7.5. They bit the bullet and took the higher payment. Now they're buying at a lower price, right? So as prices went up, they're building their equity. And now as rates come down, they're going to be able to cut those payments down. It's going to work out great for people who manage to tough it out and buy during these very, very difficult times in real estate. So hopefully rate cuts are coming. I still got my doubts about the election. I still really think maybe we get one in September, but they're not going to play with it much more than that till after the election in December. So maybe we get a 0.5 point trimmed off this year. If we're lucky, we get 3/4 trimmed off this year. That brings us down to, say, a pretty big number overnight, right? Still will be very high. So we'll see where it all goes, but it's very fascinating times we're in right now, right? You saw that. I talked about that on the show. More than $6,000 across the board in credit card debt. Everybody having that. Of course, it sucks because $1.14 trillion in credit card debt. The good news is I've been talking to you guys since we started this show about not adding on new debt, especially credit cards, making you guys understand why they're so terrible, why they're so bad. Hopefully you guys catching on to that, listening to it, and you guys haven't been piling on credit card debt because the interest rates are ruinous right now. And most people, if you show them a credit card balance of $6,000 and ask them to show you what they got for that $6,000, a lot of people would be stumped. All right, moving on. So tomorrow we get CPI. It's going to be a huge day. Listen to this, guys. 97% of jobs in the United States have not kept up with inflation since 2019. That might explain why everybody's in such a pissed off mood, why everybody believes the economy is worse than the numbers, statistics show it is. 97% of jobs have not kept up with inflation. That is a staggering number, guys. And the worst part about it is, the lower ranking your job is on the totem pole, the further away from breaking even with inflation you were. So really affecting the lower incomes the most, obviously. And that was a surprising number to me because 97 is pretty friggin' close to 100, isn't it, guys? Crazy times. Home Depot came out today. Huge warning about the economy, people not doing these home improvements like they were doing. They went and said that consumers now are in a quote unquote, deferral mindset, meaning they will defer any real expenses if they can. So they're not going to do the voluntary stuff, right? If you need a car repair, you're going to get your car repaired, but you're not going to remodel your bathroom, right? You're not going to buy the fancy new car. So basically what's happening is we've talked about it on the show a million times about the stress and where consumers are at, how bad off they are. There's no savings left, record amounts of debt. Now we're adding job insecurity onto it and all the other things that go with the psychology of being a consumer. Well, bad news, guys. Consumers and truthfully, I think deferring big expenses right now is probably a good idea. Stash that money, man. If you don't have your FU account solidified, don't be spending money on anything else. Bank that money, man. Get that FU account put together. $25,000 minimum. Guys, I'm telling you what happens. It lets you now sleep well at night because I've told you guys a million times, as my mentor told me, once you have your $25,000 FU account put away, okay, if you're living your life correctly, if you're living a normal life, you should never have a problem in your life that $25,000 won't get you through. Now, if you're an arch criminal and you're robbing and you're doing crime, that's different. Lawyers are expensive. If you're a normal person, you might get laid off from your job. You might get an unexpected expense. You might have a baby, you might, whatever comes up in your life, that FU account will get you through pretty much any travails that come your way. And I call it the sleep good at night account because, my mentor used to tell me, once you have that money put away, all the rest is just keeping score. Because you already know you can handle pretty much any emergency. So now it's just piling it up, piling it up. There's nothing wrong with that either. Piling it up is a good thing. So Home Depot warning on the economy. Listen to this, guys. 59% of the people polled in the United States believe the economy is in recession and has been for more than the last 12 months. So I guess all of this kind of works together, right? You got 97% of jobs not keeping up with inflation. So people going backwards, they're buying the things they always buy, and all of a sudden at the end of that buying, they have no money left where they used to. Now that you add that up to 59% believe they're in a recession, that tells me how many people that's really affecting that are going backwards because of this inflation. And you add on now Home Depot's warning regarding the state of the consumer, deferring projects, deferring bigger expenses. Not a surprise to me in any way, shape, or form, guys. But 59% believe we're in a recession, which I would say would probably have to play into Trump's favor for this election coming up. If they believe that we're in a recession, if I'm Trump, I'm going to start pounding on that every day. And lastly today, guys, you hear about this giant hack? Apparently they've hacked billions of records. I can't remember the name of the company they hacked it from. But basically it works out like this. They have everybody's social security number. Freaking great. So they managed to get into one place that somehow or another had everybody's personal data, their name, their social, basic personal data, address, that kind of stuff. I tell you this, guys, if that's the truth, and who the hell knows, just make sure you secure your online stuff. If you're shopping online, if you're doing things on your banking online, if you're doing things online, know that somebody out there likely has your social security number. We're probably not the people they want to be hacking very much, but just in case, take those extra steps. Just double check your stuff every once in a while. Go onto your account, make sure there's nothing funky going on there. Check your stuff to make sure that if they did hack your social security number, they're not doing much with it. All right. Anyway, that's it for the day, guys. Tomorrow's another day. We will get CPI. That's going to be a big one. Now, I can't wait to see how that CPI is going to stack up to their PCE, which is the measure the Fed prefers. For some reason, it always seems to be lower. So we'll get a 3% CPI. We'll get a 2.5% PCE. That's why the Fed likes it. Anyway, huge day tomorrow. Big finish for this week coming up. Of course, I'll be here to bring you guys the news you need. Please, guys, hit that thumbs up for me. It gets the algorithm change. It gets our video in front of a few more people. Would certainly appreciate your help with that. Thanks again to all the guys on the chat. Much appreciated. Be back tomorrow to bring you guys the news you need. In the meantime, everybody, take care. Thanks.